So it is recording. So let's make a formal introduction for our listener. Good afternoon, Bernie. My name is Claudio. I'm calling you from Washington, D.C. From the studios of Fairfax City. We are very humble and grateful that Bernhard Beibl accepted our invitation to our show. Bernie, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks a lot for having me. I'm very excited.
So, first question. So, with everything that is going on in general term with with the vaccine and cancel concert being canceled and everything, how you doing? Your family, your ability to compose music. You cannot, go out the match and do concert. How is this affecting your mind and your ability to record stuff
Okay.
in general terms?
um, to be honest, I was really, really shocked when I came back last year. I was touring Japan. Before I was in China. I was in January last year.
Yeah,
I was playing some concerts with my yoga guru. I will maybe tell you later about this project. We
yeah.
were playing a concert on yoga retreats in China, in Macau. And when we went to the airport, flying from Macau to Taiwan because we were playing some concerts over there, suddenly there was the SMS coming: new virus outbreak, new coronavirus, attention, attention, whatever. Okay, so everybody was a little bit wondering what's going on, and then we arrived in Taiwan. And the most crazy thing for me was I went to the hotel room and I was completely sick. 3 days or 4 days, I had a very high fever. So I'm still not sure because I didn't do any test at that time, but maybe I already had it at this time.
Sure, sure.
Anyway, I came back to Austria. Everything was totally okay. They said, okay, that's a problem of Asia, like we had before, like with the swine flu or whatever. And this won't affect Austria as well. I went back to Japan. I had some concert there. I had a very nice time, 3, 4 weeks. And while I was there, I could see the Japanese people turn from maybe usually the 50% of the Japanese people have some mask in their face. So that's quite normal when you are in the subway and you see the masks. But during this time when I was in Japan, 100% of the people suddenly had masks. So I was really, I could see this development. And then I came back to Austria. And as soon as I was back in Austria, I played one last concert and then everything was locked down. And yeah, since then it was very interesting time. Um, Spending a lot of time finding to my true self, doing a lot of yoga, doing a lot of exercise, doing a lot of mountain biking. I got myself a mountain bike. I have a new hobby. I'm mountain biking all the time. I did a lot of practice guitar again. I started learning the sitar. I'm very happy about that. I'm learning sitar from a very, very cool sitar teacher in
Good,
India.
man. Beautiful.
I've been learning tabla maybe already 5 years in India as well, and I'm doing a lot of more tabla practice. So I'm much more into the Indian music stuff nowadays.
Good, good for you. I'm happy for you. Where you born? Let's go to the beginning. Were you born like in a musical family? How old were you when you began playing, learning keyboard and then guitar and
Mhm.
violin? How old were you?
So it's not really musical family, but my parents were classical music lovers always. And my mom is playing piano quite well. So she's doing a good job, but she's no professional. She's just doing it for fun. And I started violin when I was 6 years old.
Wow.
And I got affected by my sister because my older sister, she was playing the guitar, and I always found that instrument much more cool than what the instrument I was playing. So definitely I was allowed by my parents to also learn guitar when I was maybe around 13 or so. And when I was 14, I finally could start playing the electric guitar. So was maybe the turning point in my life.
Were your parents very strict that you
My
couldn't play the
parents are
guitar?
both teachers, so they were quite strict. Yeah, they're language teachers, but yeah, they were quite strict, and I had to be quite a rebel in my home, so I could listen to my rock music. I was my most favorite band ever is the Beatles, so they had maybe not the hardest time listening to the Beatles, but when I started with Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Iron Maiden, whatever, they were sometimes looking at me, is this guy really crazy, or what is he doing in our house, or something like that.
And then, so when you pick up the guitar, the electric guitar, when you were 14, you kind of learned your own, or you took lessons, classes with teachers?
I had lessons at the music school
Yeah.
in my hometown, where I also worked the last years. I'm actually, how do you call it in English? Karens? No, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not at the music school since 3 years, because I had so many gigs that I said, okay, I quit music school for some time, and then I will come back for teaching. And that's what actually happening. I go back to teaching in September, maybe.
And then, so at the time when you were the equivalent, I think you guys call it gymnasium in Germany. It's the equivalent of high school here.
Yeah.
You at the time when you were 18, you decided, I don't want to go to college. I want music to be my thing, my way of making a living.
My parents, they forced me to finish that school, and then I was allowed to go to the conservatory. So it was quite a, how do you call it, conservative household, whatever. But finally, when I was 19 or so, I was going to the conservatory. Because you're a computer guy, I started studying informatics, by the way, so IT. But I quit after a half a year because I was so sure about it. Just want to play guitar until the end of my life. So I quit that, and I went to the conservatory, to another Tangerine Dream guitarist, to Gerald Gradwohl.
Oh, yeah.
Who was
Gerald, is he alive?
Yeah, and he was my teacher, and he is,
Oh,
my favorite guitarist.
We need to bring. You need to help me out. We need to get a hold of him. We'll have to interview him
for the show. Yeah.
For the show. Yeah. Then, so at the time, what kind of music were you listening when you were 19? You say Metallica.
My all-time favorite band is the Beatles.
The Beatles.
This will never change. But at this time, I was listening to all these guitar heroes. My really, really favorite is Paul Gilbert. So I'm so happy 2 years ago I was supporting Paul Gilbert's band with my band. It was one of the greatest moments in my life. Then Richie Kotzen, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Ingrid Malmsteen. So really all the guitar heroes. I was listening to that music. I was listening to Dream Theater a lot.
Yeah. What about bands like Genesis and Peter Gabriel, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin? You like that kind of stuff? Jimmy Page?
Led Zeppelin for sure. I like more the rock stuff. So I got into touch with things like Genesis, whatever, later on when I was already playing with Tangerine Dream, and I was talking to Thorsten, and Thorsten said, "Oh, you don't know Genesis." I said, "No, I'm sorry. I was listening to all these guitar heroes."
Yeah, that's good, man. And then you had at home, your parent bought a lot of vinyl that you were classical music vinyl that you were listening to?
No, not really. So the first vinyl I stole from my parents is the White Album from the Beatles. So
wow.
I think they still don't know I have it here in my home. So I really secretly stole it from the collection of my father's LPs.
Yeah, like something like that. You took it, and you put it in your jacket.
It never came back to this place. So it's an original. It's an original White Album.
Oh. Well, you can sell it for a lot of money.
Maybe one day.
If you need the money one day, yeah. And then, so which one was the first band that you participated in, that you were a member of?
It was actually a local band. So it was called The Chunks. It was from my hometown, and it was quite a cool band to start with. I was 14 or 14 and a half years, maybe already 15, I don't know. And they were looking for 2 new guitarists because they had 2 guitarists before. It was a band with 13 people, so the whole brass section, they were playing some kind of Blues Brothers style songs, And then I joined this band, and suddenly I was there, and no other guitarist coming. So they switched from 2 guitarists to one young guitarist, because all the other band members were 25 or older, and I was maybe 15, as I said. So I learned with this band, I learned how to play loud, because I had to be very loud. I lost some frequencies in my ear playing together with this band because I was already cranking up the Marshall like crazy, and still my ear to the speaker and hearing myself. It was really crazy time. And I also learned, to abuse alcohol with these older guys in the same band. So
I got you.
Was a good experience.
And then when you were making money, or no, or free?
Not really at this time. At this time, it was a local band, so maybe the biggest concerts we played were with 1,000 people, whatever.
1,000. Well, still very good.
Still 13 people in the band.
Yeah.
How to,
and then
how to
when
share the money.
when was the first gig that you actually got paid? Was it a different band after that?
I actually got paid, but it was very little money at this time. So the first real well-paid things were when I was playing some jazz gigs after study. Yeah.
And both on. Do you continue with the violin or just with the guitar?
The violin just for studio occasions. Maybe if I compose some song that needs a violin, I will play my violin myself.
Yeah. I interviewed a couple months ago. I interviewed one of my heroes. It's Jean-Luc Ponty from France.
Wow. Amazing.
Of course, everybody knows Jean-Luc. You can, if you have the time, you can watch the interview. He's my hero. I mean, the guy is amazing because I like kind of jazz rock and stuff. Not yet pure jazz, but not pure rock. And I've been following Jean-Luc Ponty for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. The first album that I bought was, one of his albums in 1976, a long time ago. So it was a good experience. So, and then how was to join, Tangerine Dream? You needed to go for an audition. You knew the band before they call you in. How was?
To be very honest, I didn't know the band before.
Yeah.
And I only heard the name once before because Gerald, he was playing with Tangerine Dream. And I heard that Gerald is playing with Tangerine Dream, some famous band. I didn't know them at the time, okay? And then actually the story, the whole story, if you really want to hear it.
Yeah.
I had several rock bands at this time, so local bands, playing own stuff, playing covers, whatever. And my sound engineer from that time, his name is Gerd Balkovich. He was later on as well, sometimes featured on Tangerine Dream DVDs or CDs, whatever, because he was some guy in the background later on. But he bought a tape deck machine from Edgar. But he didn't know at this time that this was Edgar's machine. He just bought it on eBay. And it was an Otari machine. So when Gerd went to Edgar to pick up the machine, Edgar asked him, you know how to use this machine? And Gerd answered, yes, for sure, I know. And you know how some other stuff in the studio? And yeah, because he's a sound engineer, he said, yes, I know a lot. Yeah. And so Edgar invited him to work together with him. And maybe 2 weeks later, so he told me the story. Gerd, he told me the story. And 2 weeks later, he just calls me, hey, Edgar is searching a new guitarist. He's looking for a new guitarist and I should come and I should play there. So I was actually teaching at music school and I had my cheapest guitar with me. So I was quite some kind of nervous. I thought, okay, I should go there for casting, whatever. With
audition,
cheapest equipment I have, but doesn't matter. Okay, I drove there. They have the studio close to Vienna, the Eastgate Studios, and I drove there. And Edgar, telling me, go improvise. He put the track on with E minor, I think 10 minutes, and I was improvising 10 minutes over E minor. And then he was quite impressed. And there was this funny saying, what's wrong with your feet? He asked me, and I said, why? What's wrong with my feet? And he said, you don't move your feet while you're playing. So it was because I was stuck there and just concentrating on what I was playing. Sure. So he wanted to see me for a show with my band. So because Gerd, my friend, he told him, Bernie, usually he's moving like crazy. You have to see him when he's in action. And Edgar came to a concert to my local band, and
Yeah.
I was doing all that crazy stuff at this time, playing behind the back, running around with my wireless system, having people behind me, you know, like this, doing the whole round in the bar. And Edgar thought I'm completely crazy, and he didn't call me anymore. But at the same time, he asked Gerald, my teacher, he asked, "What's wrong with this Bernie? He's playing quite okay, quite well, but he must be completely crazy." And it was Gerald to tell him, "No, he's a normal guy and you can trust him, whatever." But Edgar really wanted to check me out for the first concert. There was the Tempodrome in Berlin.
Yeah.
So he got Gerald back to the band to play this concert. And I had mainly the part of the violinist at this time in Tangerine Dream. So he really wanted to check if I can keep cool on stage. But somehow I proved it, and then I was the guitarist. Yeah.
Yeah, because you began in 2006. So you were very young at that time. How old were you at the time?
26.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive. You know,
So
Tangerine
it was
Dream.
2005, and I was 26 there. Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Because I was
Tangerine Dream is
27.
well known all over the world, right? So, well, Tangerine Dream has had so many generations, so many people have played Tangerine Dream, right?
Yeah.
So, and with Berlin having too many, electronic musicians, I was always surprised that he ended up, many people from Vienna end up joining, end up
Because of the
Austria,
studio.
end up in the band. It's a German band, and if you go to Berlin, there are thousands of electronic musicians. So I'm surprised that, right, they end up, many people from Austria end up in that band, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's because of his studio. He had this second studio here, the Eastgate Studios, that's close to Vienna.
That's the reason.
And that's the reason he wanted to have some musicians from Austria, I guess.
Is the studio still exist?
I think it still exists. I have no contact since I quit the band because it was not the best relation how we ended up.
Yeah.
I never had any problems with Edgar. Edgar is a god for me. So I really loved him, and this will never happen. But that I say something better about him. But it was the people around him that made me quit the band and
Gotcha.
and also cancel the connection.
Yeah. I end up emailing Jerome a couple days ago. So I would love to interview him as well, because
cool.
Tangerine Dream in general, right? Is very important, especially the early stuff. The early stuff was unbelievable. The late stuff began too commercial. They were doing too many albums. The quality was not there. So the first, I don't know, the 70s and 80s, I think, up to 2000 something, that was good. And then after that, they would put so many albums, but the quality was. And they began doing a lot of good soundtrack too, but then it wasn't Tangerine Dream. It was something else.
Yeah.
So, but that's my opinion, man. And so it was difficult so then you began doing the violin, and then you say, okay, I trust this guy. Then you took the guitar, and the rest is history in Tangerine Dream. Was it difficult to do live gigs with Tangerine? Is it difficult to first learn the music and go on tour with Tangerine, playing live?
The hardest part about Tangerine Dream, maybe I should not do it, but I tell you a small secret.
Yeah.
There is this big question always in the internet, if everything is playback or everything is live or whatever.
Yeah.
And actually, there is a video running in the background, there is light time to the music, whatever. There is always some part playback. Okay. And some of the gigs, it was really that Edgar sent me the playback for practice, maybe 1 week before we went on tour. And then it was a 3 hours program. So I had to really practice like crazy that 1 week, so I can play as perfectly as possible. I could never play perfectly because it was always not enough time to practice. Okay.
To practice, right?
Yeah, and I had to play as good as possible to this playback on stage. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was, yeah, sometimes it was really hard to practice a lot. I had my 10 hours of practice a day then this 1 week, but then it, yeah, somehow it worked.
And then you like the area from, I think, a 205 to 11, and then again you were 211 to 214. You like the early era to the early 2000, the 216, 217, or you
The
like the
music, you mean?
latest? Huh?
The music, you mean? The
Yeah,
Tangerine
yeah,
Dream music.
yeah,
To be very honest, the more I got into the old stuff of Tangerine Dream, okay, I could hear there is a big difference in the quality. So the stuff from the 70s, 80s is wow, it's crazy, amazing compositions, and it was a little bit going down in the end, to the end. It was sometimes in the end it was just one loop running through and some instrumentalist making music over it. So it was not the coolest thing in the end. Yeah. So the old stuff is for sure, it's amazing whatever they
well,
did.
yeah, and I'm I have interviewed several German musicians from that era. I haven't had the chance to. Klaus Schulze. Klaus
Mhm.
Schulze is kind of sick, so he's not doing interviews, unfortunately. But I emailed to Manuel Goshin,
Mhm.
which is another hero of mine, and so many. So there are so many good musicians in Germany. I know more German musicians that play that. Quite sure in Austria, many good people play electronic musicians too. Doing there
Mhm.
as well. So there's so many great musicians there, man. Electronic music is, I like pop, I like rock, but I like to listen to electronic music. It take in my imagination, take me places, man.
Yeah, because you're a computer guy, you need the technical music.
Yeah, I always listen music, and I have Tangerine Dreams. I have, I don't know, like 10 vinyl and then like 50 CDs. No, I have
Wow.
a big music collection, man. My I don't know, I have like 5,000 CDs and like 2,000 vinyl and more in different floors. And still, I bought a lot. I need to make time to listen to stuff, man. You know, I buy more than I can consume. But
Yeah,
that's me,
for
man.
sure.
So and then it was so you saying you didn't have enough time to practice, and then when Tangerine won't go on tour, right?
Mhm.
You guys were doing 50 to 100 gigs a year, right? So it was,
Unfortunately, not at the time when I was with the band, because the gigs were, maybe the maximum was the one tour where we played 10 gigs in America. Maybe was the maximum I ever played was maybe 20 or 25 concerts a year.
in a year.
So this was really before my time.
Yeah, in Europe and in America, right?
Mm.
And it was difficult for you to leave the family behind, get your passport, and then go on tour, and then catch a flight, going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then waking up at 7 to go to a bath, or is it difficult to adjust
That's
to that?
perfect. That's exactly my life. That's my life I always wanted to have. And I still have it. So the biggest lesson I learned from playing with Tangerine Dream for me in my life was Edgar told me, either you make music with friends and make no money, or you make music with people you don't really like but you can make money. That was some kind of saying he said to me. Yeah. And after I quit Tangerine Dream, my first focus was I just want to make music with my friends again, because in the end, it was, unfortunately, there was no friendship in the band anymore. It was just a business. Okay. And the first thing I did, I started this duo, my cover duo with my very best friend since childhood. We know each other since
Yeah,
close to 40 years, 35 years, whatever. And we were actually starting playing 10 years ago. We were doing our Beatles cover duo
that's
unplugged
yeah.
stuff. And we played a lot of concerts, sometimes up to 50 a year, whatever, and it was always
Beautiful.
fun. And we make money, so it's also possible to make money with
So,
friends.
yeah, yeah, I got you. Yeah. Oh,
I would like to tell it, Edgar, but it's not possible anymore.
I only saw. I have seen Tangerine. Yeah, I only seen Tangerine Dream once. That was about, I don't know, about 6 years ago. I saw them here in DC,
Hmm.
and Edgar was there, and Linda was there as well, Thorsten,
Hmm.
and Yoshiko, and it was good. It was a beautiful. I know that Edgar was getting very old. He couldn't move that much, but it was a good experience for me. It's
Cool.
buying an album and then all of a sudden going to a concert was your fan, right? And then interviewing people like you. So for me, it's important. I don't know. I, like I say before, I told Iris Kama, it I don't know how to play music. I don't care. Talking to people, listen to good music. That's very very important to me. I don't know how to play any keyboard, nothing. But music is so important to me, Bernie. That's why I buy a lot of music. I see close to 30 shows a year here because there's
Hmm.
in where I live there are too many good venues, and I've been able to see a lot of great bands, man. So it's when I want to die happy.
Yeah.
So and also I want to thank. I think Iris very likely will listen to the interview, and I'm very grateful that uh, Iris helped me out to get in touch with you and so other people. So I'm grateful to that,
Yeah.
man. All right, so let's talk about your life after Tangerine Dream, and then because you have done a lot of stuff, and I was able to listen to the stuff you sent me a couple days ago, and the album 2012 is very 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 good album. I
Thanks a
really
lot.
like
Wow.
this, and the
Mhm.
stuff with they told me that's yoga. So I want to ask you, your comment in some particular song and how that particular composition came together. Garden of Life, for example. But that's a beautiful piece, man. You
I'm
go
very
back
happy
and
to hear
forth.
that.
Start very slow, you go to the guitar, then you go down. It's
Hmm.
Feel free to
Oh,
elaborate on any of this.
wow. So, the whole Garden of Life, this is maybe my yoga story. So, it was during I was playing with Tangerine Dream. I had this very crazy burnout thing. So, at this time, I told you I was teaching. I was teaching 3.5 or even 4 days a week. I was doing a lot of music for Austrian Broadcasting Corporation. So I was composing, sometimes I had to compose 10, 12 songs a week, mix them and give it to Austrian TV company. So I was teaching at the time. I was composing music until 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes I had gigs with Tangerine Dream or with local bands, whatever. So suddenly I stopped sleeping. I was not sleeping anymore and I could not sleep anymore, maybe half a year or so. And suddenly I got the bill for that because I had this crazy experience. I was in a supermarket and I was jumping out of my body and I was next to my body watching myself from the outside and I didn't come back. So maybe some other people have similar experience when they take LSD or whatever, but I didn't take anything and I was just driving to work. I had to go to music school for teaching. So okay, I had this crazy experience. I was sitting on next to me driving to the music school and I was there seeing my students. My students got bigger and bigger and bigger and it was like a really crazy horror trip. And I came back home and I was lying down. And I was so lucky at this time because I had a very cool friend who is a Buddhist, and he told me not to take any medication. I got myself into that because I was working too much, so I have to pull myself out of that again. So this was a very, very crazy turning point in my life. And I also played some Tangerine Dream gigs with panic attacks, whatever. So I had a really some psycho time, maybe half a year or 1 year, but I never took any pills. I'm really proud about that. And one of the things that really magically happened at this time was I was at home in my dream world, whatever you call it. And suddenly the word yoga appeared in front of my eyes. And I thought, wow, maybe that's a sign. Maybe I should start doing yoga. And then I luckily have a good friend of mine nowadays. He's yoga teacher in my hometown, and I heard about that. And then I called him, hey, do you have time in your class? I want to start yoga. And he said, yes, come. And shortly after that, 2 months after that, he took me to a retreat with the big guru, with the founder of the yoga I'm doing nowadays, Tri Yoga. So the guru, Kali Ray, or Kaliji, Yogini Kaliji. We met maybe 2 months after I started doing yoga, and she knew the band Tangerine Dream, whatever. We started talking about music.
Wow.
She told me, you have to become a yoga teacher, whatever. And I started doing my first yoga teacher trainings, and I really dived into the topic. And I have 4 teacher trainings in Tri Yoga. So it really, it opened a completely new direction in my life. So I have this yoga thing. I was soon, as often as possible, I was joining her retreats, the Yogini's retreats in Germany. We went to China together, to India together, and it was a really, really cool relationship that developed. And not only that, she started to inviting me to demonstrate yoga next to her on the stage, we also started jamming and making music together, because she was always, Tri Yoga started 40 years ago. She was always playing music, the harmonium, the Indian keyboard, during her classes, and singing Indian holy songs. Yeah. And so we started jamming together. So I playing the acoustic guitar, she playing the harmonium, and then we have an Indian tabla player. And so we joined many of her retreats musically. Then after people do yoga, in the end, we have our music session and people start dancing and singing those Indian songs. And we actually founded, out of this, we founded the band called Chant Club. Maybe I send you some tracks.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Chant Club. And yeah, it's a really good connection nowadays. When there is a Tri Yoga retreat with the big guru, with Yogini Kaliji, in the end of the retreat, we have the music. So we traveled China, we traveled Japan, we traveled America, US, we traveled some places in Europe, we traveled Russia. Everywhere we have the yoga combined with the yoga music. And the Garden of Life, this is where I'm coming back now. The Garden of Life is the second music I did initially as a yoga background music for the Yogini when she's doing her yoga demonstrations. So our first CD, the Chant Club CD, had our first track called Yogis in the Sky, because that CD is called Yogis in the Sky. This track is just 1 minute and 8 seconds long. Okay, and it was just meant to be as an opener of the CD. But when we were doing a yoga class in Japan and the Yogini was doing the demonstration, suddenly one of the guys was playing this track all in a circle to her demonstration. And I thought, hey, we just need a longer version of this song. And this is how I developed the idea to create some yoga music based on this track, on the number 1. And this was my first yoga track. I also sent you the 108 Yogis in the Sky, which is 1 hour and 8 minutes long.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. And the Garden of Life is just my next yoga track. I already have layouts maybe of 20 new yoga tracks on my computer. I just need the time and for mixing and finishing the songs.
Yeah. By the way, what you had before in the supermarket, you did have an out-of-body experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that I know a lot about this stuff, but we were talking I will send you some videos and stuff for you to watch. And
cool.
I have a lot of interest, and I have experienced a lot of stuff.
Cool.
You know,
yeah,
so
it was for me also so important. I could help so many of my friends who were close to going into a burnout syndrome or already had a burnout syndrome. So it was a really cool incident that happened, because I can help people nowadays.
Sure,
That's my
absolutely, man.
experience I had.
Yeah, got you. What about another song that I really like? Solar Storm. That was another one, man.
Okay, cool.
Great one. Feel free
So
to
that,
elaborate on that.
what do you mean?
Feel free to elaborate how that
Okay,
composition came together.
so the whole 2012 album was already finished when I was 20 years old. So this is at least 10 years before I finished the album. So my problem is always I have maybe 2.5 or even 3,000 compositions on my computer I did the last years, but they are not finished. So my main problem is what do I finish? For what do I use my time for mixing, whatever. So the 2012 was already long finished before the 2012 topic that the world will go down, whatever appeared. But at this time, 2012, I thought that's a good title. And then I searched some things about, okay, there is a solar flare that could hit the earth, whatever it will, everything will be, the computers will fall out, whatever. And the whole topic I wanted to present with this music. And yeah, what shall I tell you about this song? You can hear it's an instrumental guitar rock.
It's a bit, yeah, it's beautiful. And so how do you know how you make time to, if you have 500 or 2,000 song in your computer, how you decide which one to put more time and then which one to finish and which one to release? How, because
The hardest topic in my life, because I can compose maybe 10 songs a day. I told you before I did this for Austrian TV. I did my 10 songs a week sometimes. I can compose any style of music, many songs every day if you want. And this is what happens when I sit down and I'm doing some studio session and then I'm playing something on the guitar. I think, wow, that's very cool. And then I continue and then I continue. Then it's a 1.5 minute song. And then I would need maybe lyrics, whatever. And then I'm not so good in English, as you maybe have noticed.
no, you're fine, man. You're fine.
And then I have to think of lyrics. And then until I start with the lyrics, I already have a new instrumental idea and then I go there. So for me, it's quite hard to really just say, okay, that's the song now and I'm going to finish that one. But that's what I'm actually doing with my rock songs. I sent you the 3 rock songs I'm just working on.
Yeah.
They will be finished next week finally, because for me it's always the biggest part to do the mixing and the mastering and say it's over, because I'm a guy who always wants to listen to it again, and maybe then this one is a little bit too loud and this one takes me forever. I just need a second person who helps me doing it. And I have this guy who always he did a lot of the masterings of Tangerine Dream, by the way. His name is Gerald Gradwohl, and he's a good friend of mine as well.
We need to intervene. We need to bring it to the show.
Yes. And he's doing the mastering now. I told him I want to finish the songs, and he said, "Yeah, come. We have this and this date, and we do it."
And then when you release it, you put it like in Bandcamp, Spotify.
For now, it's just Bandcamp. I will. This one project of the next weeks, I want to have a web shop on my website, because I just want to have that the people can directly go there, buy it from me, maybe even cheaper than on Bandcamp, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of all these developments in the last years, like Spotify, whatever, where you can listen to music, because we also have our Chant Club City. We have it on Spotify, but you need millions of people listening to your music until you really can make a bit of money out of it.
But in Bandcamp, you get paid okay. I mean, they don't. They only take a small percentage.
Yeah.
The rest go to the music.
Bandcamp is really okay.
They're very good. Yeah, supposed to Spotify, you need like a billion hits to get $5. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
The other thing that I like was Until the Time is Right. That was another.
This is actually a love story thing. I always write songs when I have the blues, or when I have a good experience with some girl. This is my main inspiration when it's about singing some songs.
Yeah.
And this was actually last year in Japan, when before I came back and had the Corona situation here. I had this song in my head when walking a very nice park in Japan, in Kyoto. this song completely appeared in my head with melody and lyrics, everything.
Really?
Hmm.
So wow, you like is Japan your favorite country?
Yeah, definitely is. Maybe
Because
you've
you
seen
go
my,
there very often, man.
as often as possible. So the first time I was in Japan with Tangerine Dream, when we were playing this electronic festival on the Izu Island, and I was so impressed by the Japanese people because I was on stage and looking down, there was 25,000 people at this concert. So it was also the biggest concert I played until then. And people standing there, the Japanese people listening very, very concentrated what's going on stage and looking at Edgar, really, really concentrated. And then I had my first guitar solo and you could see the first 2 rows, all the Japanese people suddenly started. And it was so cool because it really went deep into my heart. And I thought, wow, Japanese people are the coolest music audition ever. And you
Yeah.
know, my duo with my very best friend, our cover duo is called the Friends of the Japanese.
Oh, really?
And
That's
that's
the
also
name?
a homage. It's a homage to the Japanese people. So he's also very, he likes the Japanese, the manga thing, and he's very much into Chinese art, whatever. And I like Japan. Did I say Chinese now? Sorry, I mean Japanese. And yeah, I really love Japan. It's
Yeah.
a perfect
But
country.
also the Japanese culture has many issues too. You know, they work too much and
Yeah.
they they work to death. I mean, it's another culture. It's another world altogether. I never been um, in Tokyo, but definitely I want to go because they have a lot of very good music and the quality, the Japanese pressing of the album and the CDs are very good quality. The Japanese are very, very meticulous
Yeah.
in everything they do, from grabbing a present to the music, and the prices are not expensive. So I'm planning a trip with my son soon. I want to go and go to Tokyo and eat some Japanese food, of course. Ramen.
You will definitely like it.
Yeah,
It's
ramen is very good, man. It's very good stuff.
crazy good.
So tell me, so what are your plans for the near future? I mean, you how many albums can you release in a year? Like, I mean, you have material for another
I
50
can,
albums.
as you could see, I can release one album in 10 years.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there is so much stuff, and my main focus is on mixing. So the next weeks and months, I will be mixing as many songs as possible. I have my rock trio, which is my, yeah, this is my heart. This is everything is in my rock trio with my drummer, with Martin Weninger, the one on the 2012,
Yeah.
and Kurt Grath, he's my bassist. And yeah, this is my baby. And I wrote maybe 20 songs already for this band. And we recorded, but I never finished them. And I never recorded my voice because I'm never happy with my voice. But this year and last year, I said, fuck it. I record my voice. It's okay. And it's my songs, and if people don't like it, then I can't help them, but maybe some people like it. And yeah, you've heard some of the songs now.
It's very good.
It's
I,
okay.
I, I don't
Yeah.
know why you're saying that you don't like your voice. It's very good, man.
I started singing in 2008. These were my first attempts to sing, but I play guitar since, what did we say? 1985 or so. I played the electric guitar. So there is a lot of difference between my skill in playing guitar and my skills in singing, but I'm
Yeah.
catching up. It's getting better.
Oh, it's very, very good, man. So you plan, if things open up in Austria, in Germany, you plan to tour with your trio, or with
With
how's
my
it?
trio for sure. And first of all, I really want to finish the song. So
Finish stuff,
at
yeah.
least there are 10 more songs that are really, really very close to finish. Many of them just need a voice or a second voice, whatever, and mixing. So there will
Mixing,
be
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of stuff coming in the next months. And also, I'm going to produce some more yoga music. I told you I have maybe 20 layouts. So,
Yeah.
but it's a big job because it's really 1 hour music mixing. I found out that's quite hard because you have to listen to it one time until you get the feeling if it's okay. And one time listening to the song is 1 hour. So it takes a lot of time. But for sure, I do some more yoga tracks. I hope that the yoga thing will start as well. I hope that the Yogini, she can travel again. She's from Los Angeles. I really hope she can come to Europe again. We can go to China, Japan, whatever again. So really hoping this will open up soon again.
Is any particular area in United States that you like? You like the West Coast? Huh?
Yeah, everything. So I'm a big fan of Hawaii.
Hawaii.
So I've been to Hawaii 2 times, and I have a very good friend there. And I went there when I was playing with Tangerine Dream in Los Angeles the first time.
Yeah.
I thought I always wanted to go to Hawaii, and since I was a little child, I told my parents I want to go there, and I said, okay, let's take the plane, go there. I was playing the concert with Tangerine Dream, and the next day I was going to Hawaii. And I met a very cool guy and very good friend, and he invited me a second time, and we had a great time in Hawaii. And yeah.
Have you been in this area in Washington, D.C., Virginia? Have you been in this area?
No, sorry. I'm not sure. I was playing in Washington one time, but I actually don't know where we were because it was the only concert tour I played with Tangerine Dream where we had the nightliner, and we really were in the nightliner and going on stage, going back to the nightliner. So I didn't see anything.
Wow. Yeah, this area, Washington, Virginia, is very, very nice. There's
yeah. Wow.
You know, you're welcome. If you come here, you know, we invite you.
I would love to, definitely.
Yeah,
I really hope to go back to US soon.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, man. And I love going to Europe as well. So hopefully you can finish all your new projects that you have. You have so many projects, man, and go on tour. And you're teaching also during the day, right?
I'm starting teaching now. I'm having if people want, they can come on Skype. I do teaching on Skype, some masterclass, some intermediate stuff. I really love to prepare people for if they want to go study guitar. I'm the perfect guy for that because I really go into the details with them, and then they go to study. Or if they want to be professional guitarists, some tips, whatever.
So Bernie, so where people can buy your music and feel free to promote all your stuff.
On my website, it's bernhardbeibl.com. Bernhard Beibl, okay?
Yeah.
But I guess you will write my name down there.
Of course, of course.
Yeah. On my website, and for sure on my Bandcamp. And very interesting music. I didn't send you much about the Chant Club CD with my yoga guru. The band is called Chant Club, and the website is chantclub.com. And it's totally different from what I did before. Whatever, it's Indian music I arranged in an unplugged rock style, and I produced the whole CD. And was a complete different topic. I did this 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago.
Yeah,
it was very nice.
Are you as I mentioned before, it would be good if possible, right? People have the time to do like a Tangerine Dream reunion would be great for me. You know, if I hope I'm trying to, I think Iris sent an email to Linda, so I'm waiting to hear from her. But if you're in touch with Linda Spa, you know, feel free to put an email. I would love to interview her as well, and then do like a reunion. You know, on a Saturday on Sunday will be very cool, man, to put together. Man.
Cool.
Well, Bernie, that's all I have. It was very nice talking to you, man. I'm quite sure we'll have a follow-up interviews, and you know, I will do in a couple. I will finish the recording of this interview. I will send you a link this afternoon for your social media, Facebook, and stuff like that. And I'm here to help you. You know, to promote your music, to do a show on your music, and the yoga stuff. In another month, we can do another show, and another interview is to, you know, my goal in life is to listen to a lot of great music, interview people, and then promote the music. As I say, all my radios are free. Nobody will never ever pay a penny to listen to stuff, and it's the best music in the world, man. You know, if you listen to any of my radio, I'm trying to get the best of every country and all the best musicians in the world, man. So definitely we'll stay in touch, and if you know, I will send you an email with you know, with some artists you can recommend me, and then article for you
There's
to
for
read.
sure one artist I really want to recommend, okay?
Yeah.
Because he's definitely the best guitarist in the world.
Yeah.
His name is Matthias Ia Eklund.
Yeah.
He's my guitar guru, okay? If I tell you somebody is the best guitar player in the world, he is the one.
Is he the one? I got you. We need to check it out. And actually, my family ancestor came from Germany, from Munich.
Okay, wow.
So in 1880, there was a big migration to South America.
Yeah.
German moved to the south of Chile, and Italian went to Argentina. So my you know, great grandparents arrived in Chile in 1882. So my mother last name, because I don't have a Chilean passport anymore, but it will be Hoferberg. Hochfarber. That will be my mother's name.
Okay, wow.
And I've been several times to Munich, finding the grave, and they were very important people. So it was my family come from that, you know. And
Very cool story, yeah.
very cool. So I will send you some links, some pictures. Well, very nice talking to you, Bernie. Have a great afternoon.
I enjoyed it a lot.
And I enjoy your
having
music,
me.
man. I'm quite sure we'll do a follow-up interview, man. Have a great
Happy to
evening,
do
man.
it,
Thank you
yeah?
very much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Take it
See
easy.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.